Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today we are taking a look at one amazingly unique knife with a brand new lock and all sorts of amazing things to take a look at, and we're going to get into all of it right here, right now, coming out of Winter Blade Co. This is the Severn. And now there are so many good things about this offering from Winter Blade Co. that I think of all the knives that have come from Winter Blade Co. so far, and we're going to take a look at one more of them here in a bit. I think of all the ones that have come out so far, this is going to be the one that I think will probably resonate the best to majority of the knife community because it has so many good things going for it. And like I said, we're going to get into all that, but first let's take a look at some overall specs on this knife right here. We have an overall length coming in at 7.75 inches, a blade length at 3.25 inches, but also note the cutting edge is 2.75 inches on this guy. We have a blade thickness at 127 thousandths with a blade material of M390. We have a sheep's foot style blade with a flat grind, a handle length coming in at 4.5 inches, and a handle thickness at 440 thousandths. We have titanium on the handle material with the Stealth Lock. Yes, this is that new lock. We'll talk a lot more about that, go over everything we need to know about it, but it is very, very nice and extremely fidget friendly. We have a user of a right or left hand tip up carry, a weight coming in at 4.6 ounces for this version. So this is the titanium version, but like I said, there's going to be two other versions in aluminum and G10. The aluminum is going to come in at almost an ounce less at 3.8 ounces. And then the G10 is going to come in even lighter at really almost an ounce less as well at 3.5 ounces. Designed by Brian Winters of Winter Blade Co. And you definitely see that continuous design language in this Severn. Like I said, we're going to compare that to another one here real quick. Price on these guys. This one is $349. The price will vary depending on the knife though. So there'll be a link below for you guys to check these out. Last I checked, the pre-orders were still open, but they were filling up really, really quick. Most of the variants were sold out, but there was a couple. I believe there was 2 variants that were still available, but fear not. Even if the pre-orders are full, Brian did confirm to me that he did order a couple hundred extra, so there's going to be some available at the drop. So you got to just, keep your eyes peeled and stay up to date on the release of this knife, and there's still a chance for you to get one if those pre-orders are filled and you did miss out on them. Let's look at some size comparisons on this guy. This is such a futuristic, unique design. It's just, I'm liking it more and more. I've had this now for, probably going on 3 weeks, I think. But in terms of length, let's get some blades out here. Here is, actually, I should probably line this up on the line. Here's the Vosteed Raccoon. And then also, another pretty good comparison is the Kizer Sheepdog. And just in terms of, the blade shape and the overall length, probably the 2 best comparisons I have here. There's not really a lot of good size comparisons in my collection just because of how unique this knife is. But it does measure up, I think, very well with both of these two. And one other one that we have to get out here on the table, another Winter Blade Co. design that I was alluding to. This guy right here, the Factor, which I don't care what anyone says. I heard so many people say that they don't consider it like a legit EDC knife. I harshly disagree. I love this Factor. It has an amazing blade shape, but as you can see, it's extremely different in terms of the type of lock. This is all magnet based, and there's some magnets going on with the Severn, but it doesn't have anything to do with the lock. The lock is all very different, but as you can see, kind of that similar blade shape. The handle design is somewhat similar, but you still have some pretty contrasting differences. But nonetheless, 2 amazing knives. Whether you're a collector or a user, these knives are just excellent. I love the design of these. This is actually the Indiana Knives exclusive with MagnaCut and carbon fiber, which they've been sold out for quite a while now. But an excellent, excellent version of this Factor. And yeah, so I'm assuming a lot of people who are maybe thinking of the Severn have probably handled or own a Factor. So as you can see, significant difference in size there. So let's get this beauty out of here. for now. This may be going in the pocket later, actually. And let's talk about this Severn, because the blade, it all starts with the blade. It always starts with the blade, right? But a really good looking, a great EDC blade, kind of like a futuristic sheep's foot design, 16 to 17 thousandths behind the edge, a full flat grind, a great blade cutout that is very, very easy to kick that blade out with. And it's just, I mean, it's just about everything I personally need in an EDC blade. I do say a lot of the times I like a longer cutting edge. And, you know, at the end of the day, for what I use a blade for, and I think for what a lot of people use a blade for, usually 2.75 inches of sharpened length, which is what you have here, it really is enough. I mean, I know sometimes we like the big 3.5 to 3.75 inch blades, and I'm one of them. I'll always admit that. But I can easily put this in the pocket and be just as happy, because it is extremely slicey, great looking, and just perfect for all the functions I need in an EDC blade. Now, when it comes to magnets, like I said, there's not really any magnets going on here in the lock, but there is a magnet going on right here with the thumb stud. And this thumb stud is actually, you can move it from side to side without any screws, without any of that stuff, because what you need is just something to push. I think I can probably start doing it right here. Yeah, you just kind of see that pin, see how the pin pushed out a little? You just push that out, you take the rest of the thumb stud out, you swap it over, and it's there. Now, I'm not gonna do that because this is perfect for me. I don't want it on the right side because the blade cutout is perfect for me to middle finger flick it with the cutout. So I really don't need the thumb stud over there, and I really like the thumb stud on this side because, man, oh man, if you guys haven't seen or picked up on this so far, the action is stupid buttery smooth. Like, oh, it's different. The action on this thing is different, and there's actually a really good reason why, and we'll get to that here in a second. But in terms of the blade, that's basically it. You got the great finger choil, and this actually really does feel pretty comfy in hand, even though there is kind of the corner of the handle there. Everything is smooth and chamfered, so it doesn't feel bad. I mean, you feel it, but it doesn't feel bad. It's very usable as is, just like this. But I really do like it in just this position right here for probably most of my uses for this knife. Just a really good feeling handle, very neutral, but there's also some curvature. It's flat, but there's a lot of like heavy, deep chamfering on the sides that are kind of like wide chamfers and bevels. So it does feel really good. And man, the look on this thing. I love the name of the Stealth Lock because this whole knife to me looks stealthy. The handle, all the straight lines are just, they go great with it. You have T8 hardware all over the handle, so that's always welcomed and super appreciated to have all T8s. Makes disassembly super easy and just a lot more enjoyable than having to switch back and forth between T6s and T8s. And we also know T6s are just more likely to strip than T8s. Now this Stealth Lock, let's talk about it because there's so much going on with this. Basically what the Stealth Lock is, there is a patent pending on this. So this will be just for Winter Blade Knives, which is going to be an amazing thing. I think it's really going to help grow his product line of knives as you know, as the years move on and even the months move on. I hope we see more than just one offering from Winter Blade per year, because it's the ones he comes out with are just so good. But back to the Stealth Lock. I digress. Like I said, patent pending, and it basically consists of a crossbar style lock here, and then also a spine lock here. But now when I say spine lock, it's obviously not like this type of spine lock. There's a spring-loaded tab right here. And this tab and this crossbar lock are all one in the same. Now there's also some steel lock plates that make for a rock solid lockup, and you really do notice it. And the only thing that I think some people might complain about, you get used to it very easily, but this flipper tab here is very minimal. Now I like that, I really do, especially once you get used to it. When you first pull this out of the package, you might be like, uh-oh, I don't know. But believe me, everything up here is so smooth and so comfy, and the way your finger gets access to the spring-loaded tab here, it's pretty effortless. You don't have to really dig and push and grind in there. You just put your finger on and just pull it back and let it do its thing. It's very nice. And are you noticing one other thing? that you haven't seen so far happen with this? Have you seen no blade bounce? Yeah, there's no blade bounce in this, or at least not from my experience so far. The only time you may get, and it's not really blade bounce, what could happen is sometimes if you have the lock pulled back and you don't release it in time, so like say it comes down and you don't release it, if you're still holding it back, obviously it could come back up because there's nothing holding the lock down when it goes down. But in terms of just it coming down and the lock locking the blade in, there is, what's it called? What is the actual word for it? Anti-blade bounce geometry that Brian incorporated with this design that makes it very, very smooth. And I've even like tried to get it to bounce. Like I'll close it hard. And, one time I closed it too hard, but it pretty much never bounces on you. Very, very smooth action, very enjoyable. And it's something to where obviously it's always harder to do under the camera, but in terms of just deployment and how smooth it is, whether you're closing it or opening it, it's very, very good. And it's just a very different type of action. I think a lot of it does have to do with just the perfect spring tension in the inner workings of the lock. I really think that's probably like 90% of it. And just the overall quality of, the internals of the piece. But it is so good looking. And I think so many people are going to love this lock. I really did, and I still do. Like, I loved the lock on the Factor. It was very different. Makes such a good tink. But this, I think, will probably be more for everybody. I think this is more of just like the general knife enthusiast type of knife. And you're really going to see that because I don't think you're going to be around for long. They're probably, the couple extra 100 he got are probably going to sell out the day of the drop. So you want to be ready for it. And I don't know exactly when that is. But of course, I will have everything linked below to Winter Blade Co. to check that out. But this is a knife that I couldn't recommend more. I love it. It looks great. It looks different. So like I said, if you are one of those guys that like to just guys or gals that like to collect more than use, that's totally fine. And this is a great collection piece. Or if you're looking for a user with a nice slicey blade, yeah, this is also a knife for you. And it has a great handle on it, very nice clip. It really is a complete package with a unique lock. You don't see that a whole lot nowadays. I know locks are the craze and a lot of people are always trying to come up with new locks, but not always do they come up with some that are enjoyable as this one, where you can really just get creative with the spine and the crossbar lock style of knife. And yeah, very, very good. Excellent piece coming out of Winter Blade Co. Great design. You'll definitely see more on this because I intend on this probably being a forever collection piece. I really do. I really mean it. I love the designs from Winter Blade Co. As well as this Factor. Never leaving the collection. So it really makes for just a really good piece in general, regardless of what you're looking for a knife for. So with that being said, that is the Winter Blade Severn. There will be a lot more in the link below to this. And let me know what you guys think. Very unique piece, very fidget friendly, and I think a lot of people are going to like it. That's it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this one. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and until the next one, I'm out.